Are you ready for some MLB picks for today, Wednesday, September 6th? Thank you so much for joining this live stream, or maybe you are watching the replay. I appreciate all of you. Now, we have been on fire lately, so let's keep rolling. Today, I want to discuss 4 potential wagers in Major League Baseball with you. Now, let's start by recapping what happened yesterday. So the 2 free picks that I gave you were the Minnesota Twins playing in Cleveland and also the KC Royals against the White Sox, and both betting plays were winners. I also added 2 more premium picks at mjpicks.com for those of you who signed up to this service that has been racking up a lot of profit over several weeks. So I added the following MLB player prop bet: Kyle Freeland from the Colorado Rockies, under 3.5 strikeouts. If I remember correctly, he got only 2 in 6 innings, so that was another winner. And we kept rolling in the WNBA with the Dallas Wings plus 6.5 points against the New York Liberty. The Wings lost by a single point, so this was another winner. Now, in fact, this is what we've done in the WNBA is staggering. During the past 34 picks, I think it's worth that I show it to you. So here are all the WNBA picks that we made this year. We started the season, you can see here, with a 9-11 record, which was not that great. But since then, we have been on fire with 28 wins and only 6 losses. That's right, a 28-6 record. So in total this year, we have a 37-17 record. That's a winning rate of 68.5%. Now, I did warn my members yesterday that the Wings was not necessarily an awesome play, but we still won the bet nonetheless. All right, one more thing I wanted to share with you. Let's see how the premium picks have done at mjpicks.com during the past 4 weeks. So as you can see, we held a 20-12 record 4 weeks ago, then 17-9 record, then 15-12-1, then last week a 17-10 record, and so far this week, we've only had 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, we already have a 6-1 record. So if you combine all of these weeks together, that generates a 75, 44, and 1 record, a 63% winning rate. Now, obviously, the winning percentage does not tell the whole story because it depends on the odds that you are getting. Now, if you had risked just 1 unit per wager, your total profit during this time period would have been plus 22.34 units. Now, in case you are not familiar with what are those units mean? Well, a unit corresponds to your typical average bet. So, for example, if you tend to bet $100 per game, then during this time period, you would have won $100 times 22 units. So that's $2,200 of profit that you would have obtained, well, if you are a MJ Picks member. So now let's keep rolling. We are red hot. Now the NFL season is also coming up, and we also started sharing some college football picks. But let's talk about MLB for today. So first of all, let me tell you about the Hot Bats betting system. It says, so I developed this system after analyzing data on 7 years. That was a few years ago. And it recommends fading the home team, which means you should bet against the home team if they either won their past 2 games by scoring 6+ runs in each of those victories, or if they won their past 4 games by scoring 5+ runs. Now, the latter, focus only on the latter part of this system, winning the past 4 games by scoring at least 5 runs. And this is what I usually call the hot bat number 2 system, okay, because that is the second set of rules. Now, let me say something important to you. So this system, in my data set, it performed well, but that was like 4 years ago. And it has performed so badly since then that I've now recently started to go against that system. Okay, I very rarely do that, but the performance has been so ugly that I've started to fade the system, and it has worked very well. Now, I'm going to show you the numbers on my screen because it will be clearer to you if you see the numbers instead of me saying them out loud. So I'm talking here about the hot bat number 2 system. So this year, in 2023, it has obtained a 7-22 record. Last year, a 5-13 record. And the year before, a 12-23 record. So in total, you get 24 wins and 58 losses, which is a 29% winning rate. That's awful, really awful. And that's why when this system occurs, I actually do the opposite of what it's telling me to do. And today we do have 2 different teams that fit under this system. As you can see, there are not that many plays every year that qualify under the hot bat number 2 system. But strangely enough, we have 2 teams today. Now, the first one, again, let me share my screen and show you the New York Yankees recent schedule. So remember the rules. They must be at home. The Yankees are indeed at home today. And they must have won their past 4 games by scoring at least 5 runs in each of them. As you can see, the Bronx Bombers did win their past 4 games by scoring 5, 6, 5, and 6 runs. So this means they do qualify under this system that says you need to fade the home team. But since I'm actually doing the opposite, I'm going to bet the home team. And that's why my first pick today, and I hope my explanations were clear enough. So I'm taking the New York Yankees. At the time I shared the pick, like an hour ago, the best odds I could get with the Pinnacle Sportsbook were -161. Now maybe you are getting -165, -170, -175. I don't know. It depends on your sportsbook. But after analyzing this game further, I really like the Yankees here. And buckle up because I have a lot of good information for you. So maybe it's going to convince you that this is a strong play. Now, as usual, all I'm doing is sharing my own bets with you, and you are deciding whether you want to tail those plays or not. Well, first of all, we have a factor that I like a lot, the revenge factor that comes into play. Because last Thursday, Matt Manning, he tossed 6 scoreless innings against those same Yankees. And meanwhile, Clark Schmidt yielded 3 earned runs in 4 2/3 innings. So I really love when 2 starting pitchers face each other twice in a short period of time. And I've noticed that most of the time, it's a good idea to take into account the revenge factor. Now, I know that Matt Manning has been on a roll lately. In his past 4 outings, he has given up just 1 earned run in 23 2/3 innings. That's awesome. But if you look at his prior 3 starts, he had been doing very badly. In fact, he posted a 9.18 ERA during those 3 starts, and I truly believe that he's about to hit a wall today at Yankee Stadium. Now, Clark Schmidt, he has allowed 3 earned runs or less in 18 of his past 19 starts, which is incredible. his only blemish was a bad outing at the Atlanta Braves. And you probably agree with me that this is a tough environment. So he was on the road against the top offense in the big leagues. Now, Clark Schmidt has improved a lot as the season went on. He had a pretty rough start to the 2023 campaign. In fact, in his first 9 starts, his ERA was 6.30. And since then, so in his last 19 starts, he owns a 3.82 ERA. All right, again, I've got even more arguments for you. The Yankees, they are 7-1 in their past 8 games overall, including an impressive 3-game sweep against the Astros in Houston. Also, the Yankees have owned the Tigers in the last 2 seasons. In fact, over the past 2 years, the Yankees have a 9-2 record against the Tigers. I've also noticed how Detroit has performed very poorly against American League East rivals. So against that division, they have presented a 6-24 record this season. All right, so do I have more arguments? Oh yes, one more thing I've noticed is that the Yankees almost qualify under the snapped winning streak betting system that has done extremely well. We have made a few picks lately and won them recently. And in short, it recommends betting against the road team if they won at least 5 straight games before losing their last match. Now, the Tigers did lose their last game against the Yankees, and prior to that, they had won 4 consecutive games instead of 5. So that is close from qualifying. So to me, that's another argument backing the Yankees. All right, so now I mentioned to you that there is another team that also qualifies under the hot bats system. Okay, again, I'm going to share my screen and show you what the Miami Marlins have done lately. So remember, the hot bats number 2 is looking for home teams. All right, Miami is at home today, that have won their past 4 games. That's the case of Miami. And they must have also scored at least 5 runs in all of those 4 games. As you can see, they scored 6, 11, and 8 runs in those 4 victories. You can also add a 5th game on August 31st if you want. So under normal circumstances, I am supposed to be fading the Marlins, but like I said, this system has performed very, very poorly. So this time I am backing the Marlins. So that's a pretty big underdog, but I'm taking the Miami Marlins at home against the Dodgers for today. Now remember that I don't make my bets by simply tailing my systems blindly. Okay, I also analyze the games further, and in this case, I do believe the Marlins have a shot here. So the Dodgers will start Lance Lynn. He leads the league with 37 home runs allowed this year, which is not necessarily a category that you want to lead. Now, he was having a pretty ugly season with the White Sox before getting traded to the Dodgers. Now, he got off to a nice start with his new team, but he seems to be back to his old bad habits in his past 2 games, because he has allowed 10 hits in Boston, and prior to that, he allowed 7 hits to the Braves. So that is not reassuring for LA. Also, I was thinking that the energy level from the Dodgers is probably down after facing the Braves in a very much anticipated series. Now, facing the Marlins is not as exciting, and the Dodgers are also on the road. And meanwhile, we know that Miami is super motivated. They are really in the thick of the playoff race. All right, now the Marlins will start JT Chargois for maybe 1 or 2 innings before he's likely to be giving way to Edward Cabrera, who is likely to be recalled from the minor leagues. He is capable of very strong performances, and what I like about Cabrera is he has a high strikeout rate. In fact, he has struck out 93 batters in only 77 innings. So to me, it is worth taking a shot. You have an ultra-motivated home team at positive odds, and the pitching matchup is really not that bad if you are taking the Marlins. I'm not sure Lance Lynn is that great. He's not having a great season. So give me the Marlins at plus 130 odds. Again, maybe you are having lower odds. It depends on your bookie. But those were the most advantageous line earlier today. All right. Now, if you let me say hello to some of my viewers for today. We have a lot of comments. Brian McGuire says, the professor is on fire. Thank you, my friend. Oh, Pocket Aces is here again today. He says, nice day yesterday. Richard Renfro, hi, my friend. Jay Tanael says, I'm glad I jumped back on the premium side again. Oh, so Jay Tanael just signed up again to mjpicks.com. Thank you so much. You joined at the perfect moment, my friend. Oh, thank you, Brian McGuire. He's asking, how did your boys do in the ball game yesterday? That was my next topic. And yeah, baby, my boys won the game yesterday, the finals. The team that I'm coaching and whom both of my sons are playing in that team, we were facing the team that finished in first place just ahead of us, and we destroyed them 22-15, if I remember correctly. Our offense was great once again. Now, one thing you need to know is that my youngest son, Jay, is very small. He's tiny. He does not hit as hard as his teammates. But in the first inning, the bases were loaded, and he hit a triple that cleared the bases, and that really pumped the crowd. I mean, the parents and all the family was making a lot of noise. We were so excited, and everybody was happy for Jay. And I was thrilled as well. So this was a nice win. So the guys won the championship, and it was quite special this year. Well, last season, my oldest son also won the championship, but at that time, we were only playing the playoffs within our own league that consisted of 8 teams. But this year, the league did something special. Right from the start, they merged 4 leagues together. So there was a total of 18 teams that we had to compete with, and now they are the champions of all of those 18 teams, which was a great accomplishment, and they won several games by a good margin. They are really on a roll. And it's not over yet. They could play 2 more games. Now we're going to face other champions from other regions. So we're playing Saturday, and if we win again, we're going to play Sunday against another champion from a bigger region, and then that would be it. So there's a maximum of 2 more games. But I'm super excited that they did win the title for the second straight year. All right, so thanks for asking, Brian. That's really nice of you. Okay, so let's keep moving. This time I want to say a few words about the blowout number 1 betting strategy. It says, bet a team that won its previous game by a margin of 8+ runs if they are facing the same opponent. Now, hopefully that rings a bell to you, because this specific system was responsible for yesterday's 2 free picks that I shared with you. The Twins and the Royals. And again, we won both of them. So let's do it again, and I'm going to talk about 2 teams that fit under this system. Now, I have to admit, this betting strategy has not done super well this season, as I said yesterday. So don't get overly excited. We've done well yesterday, but let's see what happens today. Now, can you guess which two teams fit under that system? Let's take a look at yesterday's games. And the first one I want to talk about is San Diego. The Padres won 8-0 last night against the Phillies. So that's an 8-run victory. And they are facing the same opponent. So pick number 3 for today goes to the San Diego Padres at small positive odds right now. Now, do I like this pick enough to make it an official pick or not? Well, let me review with you my analysis of the game. Now, it's quite hard to be fading Zach Wheeler. Well, I did it in his last start against the Brewers, and it paid off as we won the bet. Now, Wheeler is enjoying another superb season for the Phillies, but my question is he showing some signs of fatigue? Because he has allowed either 3 or 4 runs in 3 of his past 5 starts. I've also noticed that the Phillies have presented a 3-5 record the last 8 times he was on the mound. Now, again, still talking about the fatigue factor, Wheeler has pitched at least 6 innings in each of his past 5 games. So again, he could be fatigued. This is like the end of the season. I feel like the Padres could take advantage of it. Now, San Diego will send Michael Wacha to the mound, who has some staggering numbers. He has allowed either 0, 1, or 2 runs in 13 of his past 14 games. That's amazing. Now, he owns one of the league's best ERA this season at 2.85. He did miss 6 weeks with a shoulder injury, so perhaps he is not as tired as Zach Wheeler, and he picked up right where he left off before the injury. So now, after analyzing this game further, I've decided to make it an official pick. I did place a wager on San Diego, so that's our second underdog. Now, one more team also fits this system. If you review yesterday's game, who won by a margin of at least 8 runs? The Houston Astros, who destroyed the Texas Rangers 14-1. Wow. Now, do I like this pick enough to bet? Well, if you see a yellow circle here, that means this is just a lean, as opposed to when I have a green circle where this is an official pick. So this is a lean on the Astros at plus 120 odds. I'm not convinced yet that this is good enough to bet. Now, we have a couple of veterans facing each other. They were actually teammates earlier this season with the Mets, so Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer. Both have very similar numbers. They have a similar ERA, a similar WHIP statistic as well. Now, Verlander posted 2 straight scoreless outings, but he struggled. That was against the Tigers and the Red Sox. But he squandered 6 runs against the Yankees in his last start. So that's a source of concern to me, and one of the reasons why right now it is just a lean. Now, Scherzer has pitched in 6 games since joining the Rangers. He holds a 3-1 record with Texas and a great 2.21 ERA. Now, he left a little early in his last start because he had some forearm tightness. But he seems okay, so that may not be enough for me to consider it as a good point in favor of the Astros. Now, of course, what makes this bet tempting is the fact that the Astros are much more on fire than the Rangers. In fact, the Astros have a 7-3 record in their last 10, where all 3 losses occurred in a 3-game sweep by the Yankees against them. And meanwhile, Texas, in their last 18 games, they have 4 wins and 14 losses. Now, they were in first place of their division for a large portion of the season, but now they are in third place, 2 games back of first place. So for all of those reasons, I'm not convinced yet that it's a good enough bet. So let me recap the 4 betting picks that I've discussed today. Well, before I recap them, let me say a few words about another topic, because I'm afraid that I might forget, because I don't have a great memory, unfortunately. So there is not a lot of time left to grab my 15 picks on NFL team win totals. So right here, we're talking about each team. Will they exceed or will they not exceed their projected number of regular season wins this season? For example, the line on the Arizona Cardinals is 4.5 wins. So will they go over or under 4.5 wins? Now, after doing a very, very detailed statistical analysis, I came up with 15 solid value wagers that have been broken down as 5 great bets, 7 good ones, and 3 that are acceptable ones. Now, I will post the link below. Those types of picks have been money makers in every single year recently. After the Super Bowl prop bet, they are probably the second best product that I sell every single year. If you are into the NFL, don't miss out on this special NFL package. So again, right after the live stream is over, I will post the link to this package, and it really makes the season a lot more fun. I love those bets. I know that some people don't like them that much because it ties your money for like 4 months, but to me that's okay. If you have enough capital, that's okay, and it makes the season fun. When you're betting some teams to go over their win total, then every week you are following them and you are rooting for them. And for the teams that you bet the under, you are rooting that they're going to lose every week. And to me, that's really fun. So this year there will be 15 teams that I will be tracking every week, and I'll be rooting for them to either win or lose. All right, and in my opinion, those picks, given the absurd amount of time that I've devoted to them, including simulating the season 1 million times by taking into account the point spreads on all 272 regular season games, this is a very thorough statistical analysis that yields winners year in and year out. All right, so let me recap today's picks in case you joined the live stream late. So pick number 1, the New York Yankees against the Tigers. I really, really love that play. Pick number 2, I'm taking a shot on a fairly big home underdog. I'm taking the Miami Marlins to upset the LA Dodgers. Then I also took another home underdog, the San Diego Padres against Philly. And finally, I have a lean only on the Houston Astros. All right, so again, thank you so much for watching. I want to say a special hello to Larry Kelly, who is here, who says we have great success at Professor's Picks and great analysis. Thank you so much. The Better 101 says, no way I'm betting San Diego. Well, again, I respect your opinion. I'm here only to share my own bets. If you're not comfortable with some of my picks, it's completely fine not to take them. James Chrissinger says, congrats on your son's championship. Watching your child succeed is the greatest. You are fully right about that. I'm a lot more nervous when they're playing compared to when I am playing softball. I was nervous all day long yesterday. It was really exciting seeing and after the game was over, I can still see my youngest son who ran into my arms. He was so excited, my oldest son as well. They were really thrilled, and those are really precious moments that I'll never forget. All right, so Petro Cladis is also here, my friend from Montreal. Thank you for showing up. And William Carmeris says, I just want you to know, out of all the videos, you're in the #1 spot for free plays. Congratulations. Well, wow, thank you so much. That's a nice testimonial. I appreciate you. So thank you very much, everyone. This is it for me today. And I'll be back again tomorrow and the day after that for more MLB picks. So thanks for watching. I'm Professor MJ. And don't forget to grab the NFL win totals picks. This is a great investment opportunity for you. See you, my friends.